Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And I'm just waiting to see if everything kicks in here for a second. Give some people a chance to get in. Get myself in the shot. Oh, you're wearing blue today, too. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know what you were wearing.
Same thing as yesterday. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. I'm just checking.
Same thing as
Oh,
yesterday.
yeah. Yep. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so everything seems to be operating, and welcome everybody. And boy, you guys were biting at the chomp today. A lot of you coming in like real quick. M is here. Hi, M. I can't fall asleep, so I'm here first. Oh, so M, does that mean we make you go to sleep? Is that how that works? Russ was here. He says, good afternoon, Stephen, Walter, and chat. I've got the neighborhood progressive dinner tonight, so I'm MIA and we'll catch the replay.
So are you making pineapple bacon cake again?
Yeah, I don't know if he's on here.
No, he's not on here, but
now, but maybe. Well,
I'm
he'll
saying
see the
for the repeat.
Repeat, yeah. Eb says he beat Russ first. Jen is here. Hi, Jen. Kim McCowan is here from snowy Halifax. Julie Kuhn is here. Hi, Julie. And Kim says, although I couldn't stay for long, I enjoyed the conversation at the pop-up. I love seeing what everyone has made. And let's see who else. Lydia is here. Hi, Lydia. And it just moved up on me. Monkey Man is here from gloomy New Hampshire. Kim Davenport. Judy is here. Gloria is here. Charlotte. Suzanne. Judy. The other Judy. Judy Hebert. Patsy's here. Faith is here. Karen B is here. Let's see. I think that's S. Lopez. I think that's Sandy, I think. And Dubrovka is here. And Philip is here. Hi, Philippa. And yeah, so everybody's coming in fast and furious today. Wow. Pressure's on. Okay.
Yeah, we got a bunch of snow last night, and most of it's melted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all gone.
It's all melting.
Walter was out at midnight blowing it.
Yeah. We used a snow blower on it.
Snow, I mean. Yeah, I just get that off my screen.
But a lot of it's gone now. I went for a big walk, and pretty much everything's gone. I mean, there's still a little bit on the grass, but all the sidewalks are clear and everything.
Okay, M's being creepy. He says, sometimes you do accompany me to bed. Creepy, huh? Uh-huh. Patsy says it's gloomy in Mississippi. And Nina is here. And Betty is here. Dawn is here. Julie says, Stephen Walter, for a fantastic day. Well, glad you had a good time, Julie. That was the whole point of it. We'll talk a little bit more about that and make those of you that couldn't make it yesterday feel really bad about it. No, yes, maybe. Teresa's here. Hello to all, she says. I had to look at that first because the two are
almost look like Tool.
That's what I thought. First I thought, oh, hello, you Tool. Yeah, whatever. So, did work on a few things over the past week, and I'll be talking about all of these in more detail come next week's Idiot Quilter. But just give you a little preview. You've seen this before. Let me get it up here on the screen. This is Stephanie Stitch's pattern, the Christmas tree table runner. I now have it all quilted and bound, and I think it turned out.
I don't know. They look like wall plugs to me.
Wall plugs.
You know, the things that you stick into the wall.
You have nails on the end of it. Yeah. Well, you have no imagination. But anyways, yeah. If you haven't tried this pattern, you should get it. It's on Stephanie's Etsy store. And as I said, it's called Christmas Tree Table Runner. It's fast, it's easy, and if you're looking for something to give to somebody, like a hostess gift or a relative or something like this, you can knock one of these suckers off in less than a day with it. So, yeah. And then, this is the second block in the Barnstar sampler, went together a little better than the first ones. However, there's a lot of pieces in this that you don't realize are there. So there's a lot of intersecting points you've got to line up properly. And I'm glad there's only one of these in the quilt. So now I think the smaller ones I can get working on or start working on. And I just finished him this afternoon. I was working on him yesterday on the pop-up sew day. I started him yesterday. It's an in the hoop project, quite big actually. He's laid out, he's a good 2.5 feet, maybe 3 feet in length. He's laying on my wool pressing mat right now because I was washing out the stabilizer and he's got to sit there and dry. So, and then I'll hang him up as another Christmas
at first
decoration.
I didn't recognize the face. I thought, that's a weird looking face.
It's a mouse.
Oh, okay. Well, I clued in after a second or so.
Oh.
I just thought he had a head with a growth on his head.
Okay, the poor mouse is suffering from a horrible disease, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, that's what I've been up on. And this morning, I'd ordered a new cable. Let me get that. Let's go here. I ordered a new cable for one of my cameras that I have down here. And it's a camera that I don't use that often. And I thought, well, I can make better use of it. So I'll show you what this camera now has on it. It's my 3D printers. It's the printer cam. And yes, I am making some Pegasus. So, yep. And working away there. So you can see my whole print mill. Only one out of the 4 is not operational right now. It does work and everything, but it's my oldest one in the bunch. And it's slow. And I'm really seriously thinking of replacing it with one of these other ones because I like these other ones better. But I don't know yet whether I want to do that or not. Do I need to replace it? Why not just not use it?
Do you need 5?
Yes. Yes, I do need 5. So I should be able to do something with that camera in that position now. And I'm using alien tape to hold it down.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Have you heard about alien tape? It's been around, but as seen on TV. So Walter mentions it yesterday or something about this alien tape. What?
No, yeah, I know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because I know somebody that used it, and I said I'd never heard of that. And they said, oh, it's on all these commercials. And so I said, okay.
As seen on TV. It's
We
supposed
don't watch commercial TV. So.
Yeah, it's supposed to hold things really well. Well, what we should have done
is looked at the reviews.
We should have looked at the reviews first, but I just went, he was saying this, so I went on to Amazon, and yeah, you get a 3-pack. Each pack has 10 feet on it or something, each roll, for $19.99 or whatever. And I thought, well, you know, that might be handy. Supposedly it's reusable. You can wash it, let it dry, and it'll work again. Then we started watching the reviews. It arrived yesterday. And yeah, the reviews are not favorable on this stuff. First of all, you don't want to put it on your walls. And they do warn you about that. Because when you try to take it off, they were showing people taking a painting and putting this all the way around the frame on the back side and then on the wall. Well, the guy that was reviewing it says, if you want your painting to be there forever, because when you go to take it off, it's going to peel up your paint and possibly pieces of your drywall.
Oh, sort of like
command hooks.
Command hooks.
Yeah, down here, yeah, we went through that. So I don't know. And then he tried the reusing it, and they show on the commercial for it that you can take these heavy weights and stick them onto a concrete cinder block wall. And it did hold for about half a day for him, and then it picked off of that. Used it in a shower stall to hold a shower stall rack with, products on it in there. And it was holding for a while, but then he heard a big crash a day later, and it was on the floor of the shower. So it has its purposes, I'm sure, but they're not as fantastic as the company. And you should know, if it's as seen on TV product, yeah. But, I mean, it's doing what I want to do right now. But
yeah, it's like friends of ours or a friend of mine when I worked everything that was as seen on TV, he would go and buy. Like they had this as seen on TV
Like-
store in the mall.
Like
So you
shove it
go
and
and
forget.
buy it. Like, oh, I saw it on TV, I have to get it, right? So one year they saw this like $200 rotisserie for chicken or something like this, and I said, he says, oh, I got to get one of these, right? So I said, why not buy a rotisserie chicken in the store and go to Costco, right? And he says, oh, he wanted this, and I said, it looks to me like one of those things will be
You'll use once.
you'll use once and find out it's difficult to clean and
Yeah.
and then and not use it again. Well, that's exactly what happened. They used it once, made a chicken, found out it was pain in the butt to clean, and they basically they kept calling it set it and forget it. And I said, yeah, set it in the corner and forget it.
And forget about it forever. Yeah, so who's coming in here? Sue's here. Hi, Sue. We missed you yesterday. And Andy. Hi, Andy. We haven't seen you in a bit. Kim says, went to local craft fair and there was 2 vendors selling 3D work. Yeah, I've been to a couple of things where I've seen somebody with booths up selling them. The dragons that I was making, that's where I got the idea, because
we went to a thing in the Peony Festival.
that was back in June.
And the Peony Festival in the summer, and they had there was a stand selling tons of these 3D printed items, and the dragons that he was making, they were charging like $80
$80 for them. Yeah, so there's quite a markup because they do not cost in material nor time $80 to make. But anyways, that's how I saw them, and so I went and explored it further and made my own with it too. I had to buy the file, but I think we did a thing about that, talked about it. Well, now I'm making over there on those printers. Let me just, what's being produced there now are Pegasus.
Do you have one finished?
Actually, I do have one finished that I can show. Keep people entertained and amused for a minute. Show them your wit.
So it's 5 degrees, or actually it's 4 right now, 5 degrees and today. Yesterday it was snowing all day. So 5 degrees here is like 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So everything's melting.
So this is what they look like. I'm using rainbow filament, and the wings, they're all what they call print in place. The Pegasus part, he's also articulated, and he will stand up, or you can have him sit down, or you can have him squat. His little tail moves around too. That prints all in one piece, minus the wings, on the printer, and that's what's happening over here right now. Down at the far end, you can see I've got 3 of them printing, and you can see how their little legs are splayed out with them. But when the finished and I take it off the bed, it'll just fade off.
And the closest one's printing a wing, right?
Yeah, the one closest is printing one of the wings. There's a right wing and a left wing, but you can see these are all print in place too. They comes off just like this.
I can't see that.
Oops. Yeah.
Oops.
Well, no, they just stick in. There's a hole. You can glue it if you want to. I'm debating whether I'm going to glue these ones on or not. But they're pretty tight. They don't just fall like that when you don't grab it. But I think they're kind of fun. This one isn't actually a Pegasus. This one's the unicorn. There's a unicorn and there's a Pegasus.
Well, they all look the same except the unicorn has,
and there's a horse.
has a
horn
on it.
It's making a point. Yeah, they're all basically the horse. And then the difference is the Pegasus, he has wings and a place to put his wings. And so does the unicorn. So the unicorn has the horn, of course. But I think they're kind of fun. And they print really well, which is impressive. 3D prints are getting better and better, but I have found that if I pay, the ones that I paid for, like I paid for this model, it was cheap. Yeah, I think it cost me $5.60 Canadian for the files. And those ones that people sell, like when they're selling the files that you need to go into the printers, they tend to work out much better than many of the freebies you get on like Thingiverse, which is another good source. I guess because these people really, they take a lot more time. They know what they're doing in design, because this can't be easy to do. I don't know how to do. They're basically AutoCAD programs that people use. Yeah, I could learn. I mean, there's lots of stuff out there to learn, but I'd rather be quilting. Besides, why reinvent the wheel? I don't think I have a mind for design for this kind of thing. So, anyways, I'm making those other ones as gifts for my nephew, my niece, and they're into this kind of stuff, even though they're like 30 years old. But they still live at home, with their mommy. So, anyways, yeah. So yeah, those are what I've been up to lately. Now let's see. Did some more people come in? We want to make sure we say hello to everyone. We got Andrea, Kim. Patsy says, but wait, did they double your order for an additional $19.98? Nope, it was on Amazon. That reference from As Seen on TV. But if you act now, we'll throw in a whole another one. Teresa says she hasn't had any luck with alien tape. No problem with command strips. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll live and learn, right? Monkey Man likes her shirts. Thank you.
It may be good for some things.
So. Yeah, well, it's doing what I want to do right now.
Yeah.
But that is a solid surface, the top of an IKEA cabinet that camera's on, and it's smooth. It does say that they're supposed to stick to porous surfaces, but the guy that demoed it,
I'd be surprised if it does any good on porous surfaces.
Yeah, but
except for walls, maybe.
Yeah, but it can't hurt those tops because they're smooth. They're really the painting, like IKEA cabinets, whatever they use for paint. It's almost like it's baked into it. So I like an enamel or something. Seely's here. That's Scrunchians. And Lydia says, don't shoot the message, but I think there are 2 block
2s in the Barn Star. 2 block 2s.
There is on the one block. There's one block. It's the first one I made, and there were 2 of those. But I don't think there's 2 of this one. Because I looked, and they didn't say there's 2. Now I've got to go back and look at the finished pattern and just see. I'm hoping there's not another one, but we'll see. But there are 2 of the other big star that looks very similar to that one that I just showed you. And I got both of those ones done, thank God. Ron's here. Hi, Ron. Greetings from Pennsylvania from Ron and Ann. Okay, nice to see you. I don't know if you guys have been here before. And if not, well, welcome. And if you have, well, I have a short memory, so welcome again. Marilyn is here. Greetings. Enjoyed the pop-up sew day yesterday. Or maybe you did make 2 and I misunderstood. No, I only made 1 of that one I've shown you, but I made 2 of the other big block. Joy is here. Nice dragon. Thank you. And Kim says, time to fire up the printer. Love the unicorn. Yep. Oh, do you have a 3D printer, Kim? I think you mentioned something about your son was doing this kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, tell him to go to 3D Cults. That's what it's called. And you should be, if he puts in for the dragon, articulated dragon or crystal dragon, I think it's called. You'll find the ones that have the wings. They're really cool. I really like them. Wild Rose is here. Hello, Wild Rose. Joey says, do you sell them or are they just for your collection? No, I don't sell them. I give them away. They're in my collection. I have boxes of things that I print just to see. Okay, don't kill me about this when it comes to recycling. But I just took a whole bunch of stuff I printed for Christmas and put them in the garbage. Because I'm not going to use them. They were all experiments and I found other things I like better. So those ones I'm using, you've seen them in my video about my Christmas decorations. The other ones, what am I going to do with them?
Listen, even though they're biodegradable, they're not, we have a I don't know how other people's garbage works, but we have a recycling program here. But if you throw that stuff in the recycling box, they won't take it.
They won't take it.
So, all our garbage is recycled. We have most of it. And then we're allowed to throw out for regular bags of garbage once every 2 weeks. So
Yeah. But the thing about the plastic I use is called PLA. It's the most common one. Uh, it's made actually, it's a derivative of corn. It's like cornstarch in it. And I've just noticed on the new batch that I have, there is a funny smell to it. Not a toxic smell. It almost smells like a food smell that's coming off of them, which is different. So anyways, they're supposed to be made from corn somehow, and they will, if you bury them or whatever, they will over time biodegrade. They will turn back into powder, kind of a thing. But then there's other plastics though that are stronger, and they're not as biodegradable because some of them, some very, and they're usually very expensive and you need special 3D printers to handle them. They have like carbon in them. Some actually have metal, ground up metal flakes in them, stuff like that. So they're composites and they are not biodegradable. So a lot of people have been trying to figure out a way to grind up failed prints, because you will have failed prints, and remake them into more filament. There are some companies out there that have machines that'll do that, but for the average consumer, they're very, very expensive, and they still don't work all that well. And some have plans, they're home devices that involve an electric drill and some parts you print. And yeah, I've seen some of these, and no, they don't really work that well either. But I would say eventually, in another couple of years, probably, they'll be very common. They'll have something that they've perfected.
yeah, that would be nice if
Yeah, it
you
would
could
be.
reuse some of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Let's see. Yeah, Kim says, yeah, her son's got the 3D printer. And Sandy says some use the tape around thread to keep it from unraveling.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I have some of that tape. Actually,
But it's different than alien tape.
no, I think it is the same,
What, it's the same stuff?
but it's the sewing place sells. I think it's the same, except it's thinner.
Yeah, it is thinner, but this stuff's sticky.
Yeah, well, so that stuff.
Well, it's more like a saran wrap, the stuff from the
Oh, I don't know.
Quilt store. At least the stuff that I got once.
I don't know.
I've
I
never
have a
really
roll
used
of it somewhere. I've never used it.
Oh, well, I got some way back. Got into this, and it was
Yeah.
more of. I found it more of a pain in the butt. But I don't know. But
Yeah.
maybe you could use alien tape for that.
Yeah, I
too.
don't know.
I don't know. Might stick to your thread, and you might not
Yeah.
get it off. That it'll stick to.
Yeah.
But maybe have to see.
Yeah, it probably sticks to stuff that you don't want it to stick to.
Yeah. M says, "Oh, I missed the pop-up soda day. I thought it would. It'd be next weekend. New M, you missed it. And people were asking about you, M. They want to know why you weren't there. So, yep. You can do giveaways on your lives. Yes, Joy, I could, and I would absolutely love to. But here's the problem: shipping. Shipping costs an arm and a leg. They're not that heavy, but it still costs. And the other problem is right now for us in Canada, well, we can't do it by Canada Post because they're on strike. So it would have to go through a courier if I was going to do it. And I priced it out. I have sent a few things to some people as gifts, and it costs.
But it is very expensive.
It cost me about $35 to ship a box this big that weighed the weight of a feather through Canada Post down to the States. And even if, and I've sent some through in Canada as well. And it actually, the amazing part is, same price to send it here domestic as it is to send it to the States. So yeah. And I'm not made of the money,
I know.
I would love to do that.
It's not like Steve's making millions on YouTube. So.
No, let's see. Maybe if I hit the button on here that says where people can give me a super chat or join and all that kind of stuff, maybe I can do a GoFundMe. But I would really, really love to be able to give things like this away. I really would, because I love making them. And it's the shipping. That's the only thing that stops me. That's the only thing that stops me. Now, some people are going to say, Well, why not then just charge something for it and include the price of shipping? I don't have the facility to do that. I'd have to open up something like an Etsy store or go through PayPal or something like that or e-transfer. I don't want to get into any of that kind of stuff because when you start getting into that, you're running a business. And then there's all other kinds of things that springboard from that, like taxes and bookkeeping and, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would love to do that.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Until you look into it, right? So.
Teresa says, Carrie's here. Hi, Carrie. Teresa says, hope the 3D printer doesn't start shooting popcorn around the room.
No, but if it may start shooting spaghetti around the
yes. Yep. Or as it can be called by some, you will hear the expression printer poop.
Because it'll poop all over.
Yeah, well, yeah, that there's a little bit of stuff that comes out of the nozzle when you're first about to do a print and you're supposed to pick it off. I call it boogers because that's what it's like. You stick your finger there and kind of pick it off with it. Although on these newer printers of mine, I don't usually have that much of a problem with it because they kind of retract it after it's heated up to go and it kind of drops off on its own. But there are some printers that have these elaborate systems where you can put in like 4 or more spools of filament in different colors and it will switch filaments when it wants to switch color, which would be really cool. I don't have one of those yet, but it's in the back of my mind at some point. They're a little bit more money for those systems. There's something called Bamboo Labs that everybody seems to really like. It's not that bad price-wise. Well, I guess if I'd want the best of the best in it. So you're talking probably 800 to 1,000 Canadian dollars for a system like that. And then it's a new learning curve. Yes, none of these things are plug and play, as I've said before. But yeah, that would be really cool. Especially we were watching a video last night on YouTube. And you know that Christmas house that I put together that had 1,000 parts? And it's different colors, but I cheated. I didn't switch spools of filament around too much. Well, I did a little bit on the different parts, but most of them were printed in the stuff like you saw. I just showed you with the unicorn there, the Pegasus. This what they call dual colored or rainbow filament. So
it varies in color as it prints type of thing. So yeah, and like he was talking about, I said shoot spaghetti. What happens is if a print fails something, it'll start printing in error.
Yeah.
What happens is that it's like a glue gun almost. Like it just prints. It just shoots out filament and it's like spaghetti. You end up with a big ball of spaghetti.
You go to bed at night while it's coming and you pray that doesn't happen because you come down the next morning, it looks like someone left their afro on the build plate. And that's called spaghetti. But the poop on these printers that switch colors like Bamboo, and I see that Karen says Bamboo, it has a poop chute. Yeah, when it goes to start a new color, it purges what's left in the nozzle and it basically spits it out, and it's a little pellet like thing, and so they call that 3D printer poop. So yeah, technical terms, right, for all this. Backing up here, Patsy, did we say hello to Patsy? I think you did. I thought the tape for thread is called Hugo's Magic Tape. Oh, okay. Well, that's definitely not alien tape.
No, it is called something. Yeah, I thought it was called magic tape.
Yeah.
I think I have some somewhere.
I'm sure I've got some somewhere too, but I've never used it. Melissa's here. Hi, Melissa. Patsy says Hugo sticks to itself and is not sticky. Yeah, that's the stuff that. Whereas alien tape will stick to itself.
Yeah.
And then you'll never get it apart. Carrie says, sorry, Lydia's right. There are 2 of that black. Oh, well. I've made 1. It isn't a hard block to make. There's just a lot of cutting involved. And after a while, you get really bored with it. And then you realize, oh, I still got more to put in this thing. So.
Well, I thought you liked quilting.
I do, but there's some. This quilt has become a challenge. I am determined that I will finish it at some point.
It should be a challenge and you enjoy it.
Pick one. That's it. That's the one. Philip says, maybe you could bring some 3D items to retreat to sell.
Oh, that's an idea.
Yeah, that's his thought. Yeah, I wouldn't sell them. I just give them to people. Let's see. Oh, Stephanie's here. Hi, Stephanie. So, Karen, do you like the bamboo? I mean, I hear good things about it. So yeah, Josie's here. Hello, Stephen and Daddy. Lady says, bring it to retreat, Barnstar. Get some moral support. Actually, I probably am bringing it to that. And I'm also going to bring, I have 2 new patterns I'm working on that are mine, my design. So I'm probably going to get my pieces all cut up in the next week or so for that and get them all packed up as a kit and bring those down and work on those too. But yeah, I was kind of planning to bring the Barnstar as well with me. Josie says, hello, Walter.
Yeah, I think that was supposed to be hello, Stephen, and...
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Thank you.
What did you say?
I don't know.
Nice one, Walter. Did you make some kind of comment?
Well, yeah, I made the comment about how much you enjoy quilting.
Yeah, I ignored it.
No, I don't make Christmas shirts because then I can only wear them one time of the year. So
no. What's a Christmas shirt? Is that really when you're really angry about the holidays?
Yeah. I have thought about it, but I don't know why bother.
Yeah. Charlotte's here.
Wear a badge that says Christmas.
Well, Katie is here from Greenland. Hi, Katie. Karen says, we had an Ender 3 first. The bamboo is expensive, but it feels like a different level. Yeah. I've had all Creality printers since I started this. And Creality has been getting better. Like I said, these latest ones that I have are the KEs. And I really like them. They automatically level. You don't have to play around with dials and everything like that. So, yeah. But the bamboo, I think, are a step above. So, yeah, and well, of course, you're going to pay more for, that kind of thing. Walter, dang autofill, mean Christmas shirts. Yeah, figure that one out. So, anyways, that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to?
I did a little bit of embroidery yesterday. I was making some wine bags or something. And I've got some other bags that I have to sew together.
You were making wine bags, or were you whining about making the bag?
No. And then I just thought I'd do a couple. I don't have any specific project for that. Other than that, I thought I'd just do some. And I've got some outstanding Christmas bags that were left over from last year that I never got around to that I need to sew together. So I got to do that. And then I got to cut out stuff for Stephanie's retreat that I want to bring stuff down there for it. So I'm busy.
Yeah, and you've also got to square up and bind the quilt you worked on at last year's retreat, and Stephanie's bringing hers because you both did the same pattern to compare. But I'm going to show them.
Yeah, and hers will look nicer than mine. So.
Oh, of course it will. But
my points will be cut off.
I'm going to show him how to square it up, but I made the binding for him. And I just said to him before we went to air, if he wants, I'll bind it for him as well.
Yeah, because I think I've only ever bound anything twice maybe.
Well, it's how you learn. You do it more, but...
Well, I don't care. I can do it. Well, just tell me what to do.
You'll probably disagree anyways and want to do it some other bizarre way that...
No, I'll probably do it the way you want me to do it.
Yeah, right. Okay, well,
can't be that hard. You do it.
Again, pick a finger. My suggestion is that one. Hi, Jeannie. Yeah, Stephanie says, don't say it, well, your quilt is great. Don't encourage him, Stephanie. Jeez, no. So, anyways, and well, you've also been busily looking into everything for our trips.
Yeah. Well, I've got pretty much everything booked. So far. I mean, the stuff that I need to actually, more stuff that I need to look into, I really don't need to look into it until closer to when we leave. So,
Yeah, and we still have to get ourselves eSIM cards for
Yeah,
our phones. So
for thing, or I can get physical Sims too. I don't know.
yeah, well, where do you get? Does
Just
Jeff?
from Amazon. I think
Oh,
it's a
okay.
little more expensive though
Well, we can't
than
get
the
them by
Sim.
mail.
No, yeah, no, but Amazon delivers them.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, yeah. Um, Pat says, Walter, you should stop while you're ahead. Yeah, that's good advice. Take it. Um, so yeah, right. Ha ha ha. So that's what he's been working on, and I think I'm more excited about going to London and to Birmingham than Holland. Well,
Well, actually, I got excited about both while I was booking both, so I got excited about doing both.
the
So.
reason I'm not as excited about Holland is because it's full of Dutch people.
Yeah, well, they always say Dutch people sound like they're rude because they're very direct.
Because they are. No, they don't only sound rude. They are. I'm sorry, but they are rude. And those of you will know my reference to that. Think Margaret. Okay, if you remember.
Do I buy travel insurance? Well, it depends. That's a good question. On this trip, probably not, because we do have health insurance. Like I have a health insurance, continuous travel and health insurance that I buy, that I pay for every month.
That we pay for.
We pay for every month. And it's good for all over the world. So I don't get that. Because of the way we booked the trip, all the hotels that I've booked are cancelable and within a day. So if we can't go for some reason
With no fee.
The only thing I might have a problem with this is that the flight to Holland we booked on points. So I don't know how that works if I cancel the flight for points. The flight to England is I booked and it's fully cancelable.
And we paid extra to have it get our money back if it's all.
Yeah, I mean, I can cancel it at any time and get all our money back. And the same thing with the hotels. The hotels are all cancelable. So there isn't really a huge need to buy travel insurance. So, we didn't do that
this time. But we have done it in the past.
Too, we have bought travel insurance.
It depends on the circumstances and everything, but we don't leave it to chance at all. No way. Too many horror stories you hear.
I mean, we bought expensive travel insurance for a trip that we were taking in 2020, and then the pandemic hit. And we lost. The insurance wouldn't pay out because of the pandemic.
So we lost $10,000.
Yeah, we lost $10,000. So I don't. When we paid $900 in travel insurance, and it didn't work. So.
And first of all, I'll never book a river cruise again. Not because we've heard not just that was special circumstances in the term of like COVID and all this stuff and whatnot. But what we've heard is, and I haven't heard too many people, they were the lucky ones that never actually did a complete river cruise because the water's either too low or it's too high and it can't get under the bridges or float the boat. So they take everybody off the boat, put you all on a bus, and it becomes a bus trip. And you stay in hotels that supposedly are comparable. Well, they're not. You paid for a river cruise, you paid for that. We're not taking that chance.
No, I don't want to pre-book holidays like we did in the past because we used to pre-book holidays that were all inclusive and everything else, and then bought a bunch of travel insurance and everything else. And so now I would rather just get a flight, and we're doing Holland on our own. We're just doing going around. Set. I have an idea what we're doing, but we're
doing it by train.
And we're doing it by train. I originally had booked a car, but then I got looking into it and I decided I'd rather do it by train. It's a little bit more of a nuisance, but it's
but they go everywhere.
Well, if you look at Holland's or Netherlands train system, it basically looks like a giant subway system. Like it is just like, but the Netherlands, you can travel across the country in 2.5 hours. It's a small country, so it's not a big deal. And when we're going to England, we're going to stay in London the first 3 days, and then we're gonna take a train to Birmingham and stay 3 days there, and then
And that's at the time of the Quilt Festival. We
Yeah.
said this last week.
and then we'll take the train back to London and stay another 3 days. So
Yeah. And we like London. We've been to London, well, more than a few times.
mm-hmm.
And getting
And-
around London is really easy on the tube. It'll go anywhere, and the train system in England. See, this is what we don't have in North America. Maybe because the distances are so much greater in North America, especially here in Canada. But, you know, the Europeans and the English and that, they know how to do train systems. They know how to do public transportation with it. We could
Yeah, I mean, like they have like 10, 15, even more trips to Birmingham from London every day. So, and you can get a slow speed train, which is 2 hours to get to Birmingham, or you get a high speed train, which is an hour to get to Birmingham. So, the same sort of thing in Holland. Like they have like 20, 30 trains that go from one place to another in one day. So
yeah, so it's easy. And I don't know, there's a lot of hassle when you get rented cars. We know because we've done it many times, and you got to get used to the car. You got to get used to their rules of the road. And in Holland, they don't just have cars on the road, they have a lot of bicycles.
yeah, and the other thing, I've driven in Holland before, but and the other problem with the car, I always hate with the cars, is like when you take it back and they look at, like, I mean, I always pay extra for insurance that covers everything, but you know, they still, you know, look at the car after you bring it back and see if they've got any dents in it or anything like that.
And even when we pre-book the car for a certain type of car, I don't know if we've ever gotten what we
Yeah, you never seem to get what
That's
you
a
want.
racket.
Yeah,
that's a racket. And usually they upgrade you.
upgrade you to something you don't want.
Yeah.
Like when last time we were in Australia, well, in Australia, you pretty much have to get a car. But last time we were in Australia, earlier last year, I rented a Toyota or whatever, supposedly, and ended up in a Renault. And
That was a crappy car.
It was a piece of crap.
Oh,
car.
that was one crappy
And it
car.
was, I was upgraded supposedly to this. Well, I didn't think.
What
it
were
was
we
much of an
upgraded
upgrade.
from? Unicycle?
Yeah, well,
Like, really? Is that... Hi, Karen. Oh, yeah. Patsy says, remind me which river cruise you did.
it was Emerald Cruises.
Which is a subsidiary of Viking.
No, it's not.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, Emerald is a subsidiary of there was another cruise line. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh.
No, it's an Australian based company, right?
Oh.
I forget any other.
Well, I don't know.
Cruise company.
Now, I know there'll probably be somebody on here now, or somebody will watch the replay and they're going, we went on a river cruise 2 years ago. We had a lovely time. We didn't have any problems. It was really great. Good for you. I am glad. But I have heard more people tell me that they have not done a river cruise. They have done a combination river cruise, mostly on a bus kind of thing. So I hear that more regularly than I've heard people say yacht. And it has to do with Mother Nature. If the water's high, they can't get the boat under the bridges. If the water's low, they can't float
It's
the
owned by Scenic.
Oh, Scenic. Okay. So I don't think, and they're expensive. And it sounds really nice, you know, around the river, you see things, you know, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know it was an
but-
expensive cruise that we were going to take. We were going to take a 14-day cruise, and it was basically it was costing us $20,000.
And it started in Amsterdam?
Started in
yeah.
Amsterdam and then did in Budapest.
Budapest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And they canceled it like 2 weeks before we were supposed to go.
and then
Then they would only give us 50% back. on
what
it.
river was that
What?
that it was on? What was
It was a Danube, I think.
Danube? Yeah, Danube, because Patsy's asking.
It was a Danube, and then it went somewhere else, I think. But I'm pretty sure the main part of it was the Danube.
Yeah. So if you've ever been on a river cruise and you had a wonderful time and everything like that, you lucked out, I would say.
I think I checked
for you.
last year. Pretty much none of the river cruises actually sailed last year. I think a lot of them either sailed to one or two ports, but the river was really low at most of the
Yeah.
time, and they couldn't get through.
I mean, that's a bit of a scam, because those people running these cruises know that this it's more than just an occasional problem. This is something that's ongoing. It's Mother Nature. That's the way it works. So, oops.
Even that one that we took
balloons.
years ago that was in the Nile, right, in
Yeah.
Egypt. The first part of the cruise we couldn't go because the river Nile was too low,
Yeah, so they
and
did have
so
to
they
buses.
they put us on buses.
Yeah. Oh, Naire's here. Hi, Naire. So yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, we'll never do a river cruise. It's not worth
it's not worth the money.
and they're expensive. They're more expensive than going on an ocean cruise.
It's double the
Yep.
price of an ocean one.
And because it's small. Now, some people say, well, yeah, there's less people, so it's being more intimate and you have that. Yeah, but they don't have the services either, because they are small, that the cruise lines have. So, like dinner, they always show you the most elaborate food, and I have heard the food is good on there, but it's like your alcohol. They include wine or beer with dinners, but if you want anything else, you have to pay for it, and the bar isn't always open. Like, it seems
Yeah. So
iffy.
anyway, that's all done. That was
Yeah.
That's behind us now.
Yeah, that's behind us.
And so we're traveling differently now.
Yeah, yeah. And I have no desire to go on another ocean cruise either. We've done 11
Yeah.
of them.
I
And
mean, we might consider it sometime, but it's not a priority. So.
no, it's not, because anymore, I watch several different YouTubers who talk about cruises. They go all the time. And it seems to me that the ocean cruises now are just nickel and diming you to death. They're trying to make up for what they lost on, during COVID. And it seems to me like a lot of the passengers anymore are really nasty. They talk about brawls breaking out and people like getting into fights and all kinds of stuff. So, no, not doing that.
Yeah. So anyway, So going to Europe in Holland, that'll be an interesting experience, and we'll at least get our feet wet back in again in going to Europe and stuff, and maybe after that, if we want to go somewhere else in Europe, we may just go. And
Yeah. I mean,
do the train
it's
thing and stuff like that.
great to go on something that is organized, and because you get to see things that you might miss on your own, but then you're tied down to the schedule of that company and you're shuffled around like, Wookies, little
Yeah, I know.
little
And
thing on a
I
stick
mean,
you follow.
a lot of times these tours give you like walking tour of a city or something.
Yeah.
And the one thing I don't like about those is that they give you a lot of facts of the of what's going on, what the city's about, and everything, and that's interesting. But you never remember any of that stuff.
Patsy says that she hated all the tipping you're expected to do.
Yeah.
Yes, that's another thing, and those are going up all the time, especially on the ocean cruises. And Sandy says train tours are expensive too. I want to ride across Canada and choke on the prices. We looked into that once and went, holy crap!
Yeah, that's expensive. But I mean, I know that the train system in Europe, in Holland anyway, is actually quite expensive. But if I look at the cost of renting a car, or look at the cost of the ticket prices of the train, and it may cost us as much as renting a car, but that's okay.
But we don't have to drive it. We don't have to negotiate the roads. We don't have to sit there and check the GPS to see if we're going the right way and everything. There's advantages to that.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some things that are disadvantages, like you can't necessarily just drive to an area that maybe isn't serviced by the train or something like that. But that's okay. We don't have to see everything when we're there. So
yeah, that's fine. We've been before. I mean, this isn't like we have never been there.
I mean, I understand Dutch fairly fluently, but I don't speak it very well. So, and I've been brushing up on it since
Yeah,
we
mostly
said
on
we're
the swear words. It's been teaching me swear words, but I don't speak phlegm. You know, like everything's in this language.
Has a sound in sound. So
Yeah, really. Uh-huh. Patsy says, I looked on the Orient Express across the Badlands. I think that is what it was called. Yes, I saw some videos about that, and we looked at that
we
too.
looked at the one in Australia.
Yeah.
It's not the Orient Express. I forget what it's called. The GAN, I
The
think.
gang.
It was pretty pricey to go, and it basically was like 3 days, and you're stuck on a train for 3 days in the middle of nowhere.
And you're going across the outback, which
and
yeah,
I thought $7,000 each
to look
for
at
3 days to look at
lizards.
I really didn't think it was worth it.
No, not for that. But anyways, yeah. So those are plans that Walter's still working on, and I'm sure our itinerary will change 100,000 times before we actually.
I have
get
a
there.
good idea of what we're gonna do, and
I have no idea.
or things that I would like to do, and
That's the operative word. What he'd like to do, but that's okay. I go
That's
along for
okay.
the ride.
Go around.
I have no
and
no expectations.
I've already booked all the hotels and stuff.
Yeah.
So
So, yep, it'll work out fine. It'll be good. So coming up, let's change the topic, shall we? Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen on Wednesdays as usual. All are welcome. 9 o'clock start time. Links in the show notes below, as it always is. Pop-up sew day. If you missed it, too bad. We had a good time. I think everybody there had a good time. We had about 40 some at the height of it, about 41, 42, something like that. And there were prizes, and everybody got a prize. But then there's always one in the crowd who figured that out by the time we're getting into the end and had to bring it up and kill everybody's buzz on that one. Didn't you, Melissa? Not saying names, Melissa. I'm joking, not. Yes, I am not. But anyways, didn't really matter. But yeah, we had a good time, and we had a little special presentation, which I didn't tell people about. I knew this was a possibility, but I wasn't sure whether or not it would come to fruition. And some of you might remember Thea, who is into Viking reenactments, and she has been to some of my pop-up sew days back in the past and the retreats. Haven't seen her for a while, in quite a while, but she contacted me before the pop-up sew day a few days before and said she was going to be at a reenactment thing, because they go to these all the time. It's their thing. And she said she could do a live from it and show us around. And she did. It was quite interesting as well. Not my cup of tea to do it. No. But it looked like, very interesting. Yeah, kind of a thing. So that was kind of nice that we had that. Technology is a wonderful thing when it works in that way. And we, I think people got a lot of things done. We had lots of show and share, people showing what they're working on, what they had worked on. And a few people came dressed up in ugly sweaters. I'm assuming they were ugly sweaters, not part of their regular wardrobe. If it was part of your regular wardrobe, they were lovely. Yeah, so it was fun. I had a good time with it. So yeah, now when's the next pop-up sew day? Not this year, because we're in December, right? There'll be something in the new year, of course, but yeah, right now, nope, because we're getting too close to Christmas and everybody's busy. And yeah, and I'm sure some people weren't able to show up on Saturday because they probably had things they had to do for Christmas. So that's life. That's how it works.
Stephanie says only 2 more Wednesday sew days left in 2024.
Yep, that's it. Only 2 more Wednesdays. We will be doing them in the new year, but of course we're going off with Stephanie to Stephanie's retreat, so we won't be around, either one of us, to do sewing with Stephanie and Stephen on those Wednesdays. So our last one will be, let's see, what's this Wednesday? This Wednesday is today's the 8th, 9, 10, 11. 7 to 11 is 18. No, there'll be this week and next week. And there won't be another one until we come back, which won't be until about the second week into January for that. So yeah, so stay tuned. Also, remind me to tell you something about Wednesday the 18th that I just figured out. But anyways, okay, so yep, pop-up so day. I think everybody had a really good time. Let's see. Zephyr sounds great. The Zephyr sounds great. What's the Zephyr? Is that a boat or a train? Okay, so Stephanie put it as the 18th. Yeah. But that's in a week's time. We have one this week as well. Okay, so something else coming up December the 19th. We are doing a Christmas edition of The Social. If you remember, that's where Stephanie and Russ and Walter and I, we get together and chew the fat about something that has to do with quilting and sewing, but we stopped kind of doing them or put them on hold actually because we couldn't come up with any new topics that we thought people would be interested in. But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, each one of us has picked 3 YouTube channels that we really like, and they don't necessarily have anything to do with quilting and sewing. Some will, but some won't, because as I've said before, we're not one-trick ponies. We have other interests as well. So you'll get a taste of that, and they'll be linked in the show notes when we do it. But it is alive, and that's on Thursday, December the 19th at 7 p.m., and it's live on Stephanie's channel. She's already got the thumbnail up there for you. I will have, not this week, but next week, I will have the link to that in my show notes as well. So yeah, come and hear what other things we watch that have nothing to do, some of them, with quilting and sewing as well.
Yeah, the Zephyr is a 2-day train trip from Chicago to San Francisco.
Oh, okay. Okay. Philippa says, I've looked at traveling on the GAN. I also don't believe it's worth it. Yeah, it's expensive, really expensive on it. Well, what might be fun is if they had somebody tied to the tracks and you get to run over them. That'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be worth the money. Yeah, like one of those old Western movies, tied the damsel to the track, and, you know, Penelope. They're always called Penelope. I don't know why. So MSQC Christmas box or Jenny Doan's Advent box or whatever you want to call it for the Missouri Star Quilt. You know that everybody's been opening these up. Well, Stephanie and I, of course, do them in lots of 5. So we, last week, our day 1 to day 5 was up. And tomorrow, Tuesday, day 6 to 10 will be up. Now, I know you've probably already seen ones that have opened them up, like Russ has been opening his each day in the way that it's usually done, which is fine. But what the other ones don't have that we have, well, they don't have us.
Your scintillating personality.
That's right. Our what kind of word was that? Right.
Scintillating personality.
Scintillating. Anyways, yeah, and Stephanie and I rate the stuff, and yeah, and we have lots of fun doing it. So that is going to be up, and there's a link already in the show notes.
Stephanie and you are Beauty and the Beast.
Well, which one am I? Again, pick one. That's the one. Have 2. They're free. Okay. Yeah, oh, you're so funny. Just make me laugh so hard. All right. So there is a link in the show notes when this goes up for both days 1 to 5. And there's a link for days 6 to 10, but the link won't work yet because it doesn't go live until Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Okay, so it's there, but it won't go live until Tuesday. Okay. What else? Oh, okay. Update on Hope Air, or Hopeless Air, as I'm calling it. I am very, very disappointed, to say the least, and somewhat frustrated. So apparently, I donated this quilt for them. They decided they wanted to do it as a raffle, and they have done no advertising of it whatsoever, except on their Facebook page, buried somewhere, page way down in. No one would ever know it was there. And I don't know how they expected to sell any tickets for it. Or was I supposed to go door to door and sell them? I don't know. Also, I told them, as I've already said this before, so very quickly, I told them that my subscriber base are mostly people who quilt, so they don't want to buy a raffle ticket on a quilt when they make quilts. I certainly wouldn't. But anyways, very disappointed. The draw supposedly was on Friday at 5 p.m. I have not heard who the winner is. They have not contacted me. I still have the quilt. They don't have it. I still have it. So they need to contact me and tell me who won it. They need to tell me how they're going to get their hands on the quilt so they can send it to the winner, because I'm not. I asked them about that. I said, how are you going to get it to the winner? And they said, oh, we have a deal with Canada Post, and we can ship it for, because we're a not-for-profit charity, we get a real discount on it. Okay, fine. There was no mention that this would be my responsibility either. And guess what? It won't be my responsibility. So I hope whoever won it, I don't know who they are, because I don't know when they're going to get their quilt. That is all in the hands of Hopeless Air. And I will never do it again. And I've said that before. So that's the update, if you were wondering. And maybe you don't care. And I wouldn't blame you. So on So Chatty this week, we finished up our series on doing the freestanding lace, freestanding applique, gingerbread windmill. So that last one went up on Friday, and we show you how to assemble it and everything. And so now we're out of projects for So Chatty. So if you've got some suggestions of things you'd like to see, I've got a couple of ideas. I was thinking that one of them, well, next week we've got something, because I have an unboxing of the Santa sack from Quilter Quilting. I buy it every year. So Walter and I will be doing that together. I have it sitting over in a corner. I have not opened it up yet at all. You will see our genuine reactions to whatever's in that bag when we open it next Friday. And we'll be rating the things in there and doing an overall rating of whether or not I'm going to buy that sack again next year. I think I have bought it now. Is this my third year? Third year, I think so. With that. So that's on Friday, So Chatty. But after that, I'm not sure what we're going to do. Probably not start another series, because there's going to be a bit of a break when we're down in Georgia. But I am thinking that maybe one thing we could do is maybe do a series on making bags in the hoop. Tote bags in the hoop and that kind of thing. So that's one idea, but we are open to suggestions. So if you have some thoughts, put them in the comments below or send me an email and we'll definitely consider it. Yeah. Seely's giggling. Santa sack. Well, what do you want? Santa sack or Santa's bag? No matter how you say it, it's going to have a little different connotation depending on how your mind works. Yeah. Already thought of that. Yep, because that's how my mind works. So we had the first major snowfall in our area, and when the snow falls, the stupid people come out. They can't drive in the first snow. They can't park. They don't shovel. They slip and slide everywhere. Walter was out madly scraping all the crap off. He's got a big snow blower, and in comparison to some of the neighbors, and is he bragging about it? Oh, he is.
Actually, a lot of people laughed when we bought I remember we bought that snowblower. That snowblower is now almost 30 years old. So anyway.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, we bought it within the first couple of years.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that old.
Yeah.
Holy crap,
so
we got our money's worth.
So, well, it's probably about 28 years old anyway.
Well, is it 30 or is it 28? Or is it 25? Or is it like last week? Make up your mind.
We bought it I thought it was the first year or the second year that we were here.
Well, we might have.
Anyway, so, but I keep good care of it and everything else. And it's running really good. I mean, I started right up and don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Well, the neighbor on the other side has a smaller snowblower, and he can barely get it started when
Walter gets out there. He looks like Nanook of the North with his park on, his little
but anyway,
and his mitts. And...
They made fun of us because we bought this big one.
They
For a,
make
for a
fun of
residential house, it's fairly big.
Well, it is
And
big.
but the one nice thing is that if the snow gets really heavy, like if it's wet, it goes through it no problem. Whereas the smaller snow blowers don't work through them. And what happens is the snowplow comes around and ends up leaving a huge pile of snow at the end of your driveway.
Yeah, there's a name for that.
It's a
not
you know,
trundle.
the hedge row or
Is that what it
or
is?
something like that.
I thought it was something else. But whatever.
Anyway, so
I'm sure somebody on here will know and they'll tell
yeah,
us.
and so they there is a name for it, but I don't think it's hedgerow. It's something else. And sometimes it's a great big huge mound, and sometimes it's got a whole pile of ice in it, and it's heavy wet snow or something like that. And if you're trying to shovel it, it's really difficult to shovel. And a small snowblower won't go through it, but mine will go through it.
Oh yeah, Walters will go through it. He does all the neighbors too.
Yeah.
There's a lady lives across the road, and she shovels her own driveway. She's 95.
No, actually, she doesn't really shovel her driveway. The 95-year-old guy does.
I thought that old lady was 95.
Yeah, no, she is. She cuts her own lawn,
Oh, I knew she did something.
but she doesn't shovel the driveway.
Okay, fine. But anyways, he goes over there and gives them a hand with that. Stephanie says, will you tell us which bay you will make if we want to follow along? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can do that. We will tell you that. Dubrovka says, I really like the way you and Stephanie open and review items in the box. Oh, I'm glad you like that. And Melissa says, I like the tote bag and the hoop idea, and it wasn't me that spilled the beans at the pop-up. Oh, sorry, Melissa. For some reason, I thought it was you. I don't know who it was. Well, never mind. Sorry, Melissa. I was giving you credit where credit wasn't due for that. Lydia says, plow leaves a ridge at the end of your driveway. Yeah, but there's a name for it.
Yeah, there is a name
I
for
thought
it.
it started with a T. They call it like not a trundle,
No,
but I don't know, something. I've heard it.
it's a windrow.
Windrow, that's it. You were close, Lydia.
Snow windrow, yeah.
Yeah, windrow. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so anyways, but Walter has lots of fun with his snowblower, and he just loves to show it off, because it's so big. His is bigger than theirs. Yeah, whatever. Oh, that's it, Lydia. You're right. It was France who well, not a big deal, but with it. But yeah, it was France. So sorry, Melissa, it wasn't you.
Oh yeah.
Sweet Granny says, suggestions for Friday. How to make quilt labels different ways. No. No. Not going to do it. No, you know why? Thanks for the suggestion. But no, because first of all, I don't make them. I probably should. And second of all, there are a ton of YouTube videos out there already talking about how to do it. And in a sense too, if you know how to do machine embroidery, you know how to make a label using your embroidery machine. And that's not going to really develop into a series. We need it. And I appreciate your suggestion though. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's, legit suggestion there. And I appreciate you saying that, Sweet Granny. But it's not enough to do a series. We want something that we can do over a period of, 3 or 4 weeks. So something a little bit more, maybe a little bit more involved.
I also don't put tags in my shirts because I hate those things.
Yeah. So, but thank you for the suggestion. I don't want to seem ungrateful because I asked for suggestions and you gave me one. So thank you very much. But no,
actually, I think that's the one big bonus of making your own shirt is that there's no tags in the back of your shirt.
Yeah. And Dubrovka says, burn. A berm? A berm? Oh, for the snow thing. I've not heard that term. But here in Canada, we call them windrows, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I call it a pain in the ass because they always come around just after you get the driveway plowed, and then
they like to come around here at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
to do that,
and they giggle. You hear them giggling.
Yeah,
as they go by.
Well, I knew a guy, the guy that used to be a snowplow driver, and he'd say that like there was one guy that really ticked him off one time, and he used to make sure he got the biggest
Look up berm on there. See, because I haven't heard that term before either. So that might be, according to Dubrovka, that's what they call them too. So, anyways, so yeah, so that brings us to today's topic. And we were just talking about unboxing Missouri Star quilt box and all that kind of stuff.
Well, berm is a raised area of land or a mound of soil.
That's not it, Dubrovka. No. According to, say the definition again.
A berm is a raised area of land or a mound of soil. Okay, so a berm can be a permanent dike made of compacted soil.
I could do so much with that. So anyways, nice guess, but I guess that doesn't apply to snow. Snow's not soil or a hill. But anyways, you call it whatever you want to call it, if that gets your point across.
Well, if you look up windrow, it's a row of material that can be formed by a variety of means.
Okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with snow either.
Cut hay or grain.
Okay, so that has nothing to do with snow either. So I guess people just call it whatever they want to call it. I call it a pain in the ass. That's what I call it. But anyways, Lydia says, good thing you mentioned the label thing, Walter. I was about to order you some custom Le Walter shirt.
Well, and if you do look up here in
you're still on this?
Yeah, North America, it shows you the section at the bottom of your driveway. It says example of a cleared window. So
I don't know. Let's just call it crap.
It shows windrow.
Okay, boy, are we really on this?
Windrow.
Sorry, I brought it up. Jeez, it's not going to change the price of rice in China. You know, really. Jen says, follow up your bag in a hoop with making a bag like Walter makes. Well, it's a possibility. We could do that, yes, because Walter doesn't do them in the hoop with it. But yeah, tips and tricks from Walter, how to make designer bags. Yes, we could do something like that too. Lydia says, we're in the snow business and call it a ridge. But yes, ultimately, it's a pain in the bum.
Oh, yeah, okay. You call it
okay, well, you call it what you want to call it. I guess it has many terms.
City of Oshawa calls it a windrow.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't trust the city of Oshawa with anything.
Because they have a cleaning service for seniors here in Oshawa that if you
scrub them down?
If you can't do your own sidewalks and you can't do your own, it doesn't clean your driveway, but it'll clean your sidewalks and your windrow if you apply for it.
Well, do you have to apply for that every year?
Yeah, I did. I didn't do it this year.
No, because they never did it.
Yeah, well, they do it for actually I saw a guy coming around today doing it. So they do it
infrequently.
Yeah, they do it 2 days after the snowstorm. So you can't drive through it unless you...
Maybe we need to be in wheelchairs with all buttoned up with blankets on us, holding a little IV bag or something, going, oh, help me with my driveway. Yeah, whatever. So we were talking about Christmas vlogs and unboxings and everything. Are you sick of them yet? I am. And I do one. Okay. And here's why. There are so many different ones. At the first of the season, you get all excited. You want to see what these things are. And there's ones that cost thousands of dollars. And then there's simple ones. And, as quilters, every quilt store seems to have one of these. And every quilt content creator on YouTube is opening them up and things like that. And, after a while, you get super saturated with them. So why do creators do them every year for the Christmas? Okay, I'm going to say something that's going to get me slapped by Stephanie, probably. And Stephanie doesn't do this, but, and neither do I. But there are creators out there who do it to pull people to their channel because people seem to like to watch these unboxings, right? It's like if you do a fabric haul. Every time I do a fabric haul, or I go into a store and I've taken video of it, I get more people watching it, more views, because people love that kind of thing. It's the same with the boxes, the Advent boxes, the Christmas boxes, and the whole bit. It pulls in an audience. Now, for some creators, because they're monetized, and if they've got a really huge viewer or subscriber base, they make some money with it. people like me and like Stephanie, we don't do it to make the money. Yes, we're monetized because if we don't, it doesn't matter.
You're
YouTube's still going to
adding
put ads on.
variety to your channel.
Yeah, so adding variety to the channel, okay, kind of a thing. And that's fine. I mean, I've got nothing against that. If that's, you know, what these people want to do, that's fine. But you know, it's like you get the spoilers, right? And even though a creator will say, okay, if you want to see this, you've already got it, turn it off now. But people will bitch and complain about that. Oh, they shouldn't have opened that on there because I wanted to be surprised. Well, don't watch it, is my answer to that. Now, I told you that we're going to be opening up the Santa Sack from Quilter Quilting. Last year, I got told by Quilter, or asked by Quilter Quilting, that I give it a couple of weeks after I picked it up before I do it on air because not everybody picked up their bag yet.
However, if you put a spoiler in there and say this is what we're opening, that's up to the individual whether they watch that or not.
Well, the way I look at that too is I paid for the bag. I can do whatever I want with it. It's my property. But I would say, okay, if you've got this bag and you haven't picked yours up yet, then you better turn this off because it's a spoiler alert. Okay, give them fair warning. But, and I don't understand why the quilt store wouldn't want me to do it too soon because they've already got their money. They've already sold it. So I don't know. And in fact, if they put some decent stuff in there, when I show it or somebody else shows it on it, that might drive customers to their store to get it next year.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the other reason why quilt stores and that put these things out, because they're pulling in a customer base. I think they do it not so much for making a lot of money just from the initial box. I think what it is to get people who may not be familiar with them, and because there's lots of content creators that will be opening their boxes on air, I think it brings new customer base into them as well. It's advertising.
Unless it's a really shitty bag.
And then it blows up in their face. Like
I believe Stephanie had one year from a quilt store in Canada that it was a real bust. It was lousy stuff that was in the bag, and it wasn't really a very good advertisement to them.
Yeah, Stephanie says I do it because it's fun, and if I find cool quilting stuff, I like to share. Yeah, I do it because it's fun, too, as well. That's why I do it as well, and it's fun to do it with somebody else, like Stephanie, because we bounce off our reactions off of each other. That's what makes ours a little bit more unique with it, I think. Lydia says you'd think people didn't know they could click on something else to watch. Well, yeah, but there's a lot of people who just want to bitch about it. Oh, you've spoiled my Christmas. Good. That was my plan. That's what I'd like to say to them. And I probably do. Josie says, I think there are too many trinket type things in some boxes. I agree with you, Josie. Not all boxes are alike.
Yeah, some will say, oh, well, you're getting like $250 worth of value or something like this. And the stuff that are in the boxes are not really great. I mean, we watch another guy that does ones, and he just does like maybe a candy one or something, and he's paid quite a bit for it. And there's like individual candies in each of the boxes.
You get 2 gummies.
Right, and it's seriously not worth it. In fact, we watched one the other week that was supposedly one of the most expensive Christmas boxes in the UK.
It came from Harrods.
It came from Harrods.
It was 250 pounds.
250 pounds.
So that's like $1 million in Canadian.
Yeah, that's like $500 in Canadian or whatever.
A lot less in American.
And it was a piece of crap. It was a piece of crap.
It was crap. He got several tins of tea, and he got some marmalade.
And one of them was it was 20. There were 25. It folded out like a giant Harrods store.
The best part of it was the box.
Yeah. But it was, and it had all the 25 compartments. But there were 3 compartments that had a small bag of chocolate covered hazelnuts. Another one had chocolate covered almonds. Another one had chocolate covered pistachios, and And then a bunch of them had these little satchels of tea and stuff in it.
Yeah,
which,
so it didn't look to me like it was worth $250. But I mean, it came from Harrods, so
Yeah.
I guess that was the appeal to it. But you're right, Josie. Some of the boxes you can get, like the one that Stephanie could not a year ago, could not finish doing an unboxing of it because the stuff in it was truly crap. They stuck in promotional items that they had gotten for next to nothing in it. Like, it was not worth the money. It was horrible with it. And I don't think that particular quilt store, and this was a Canadian quilt store, I don't think they're offering it this year because on their Facebook page, people were complaining about it too. And they were not acknowledging what people were saying. They were tight-lipped about it, but I don't think they had one this year.
Yeah, $250, 250 British pounds is $450 Canadian,
Whoa,
or $318 American.
way too much money for that. Now, in the case of the Missouri Star quilt, and you will hear us talk about it, so I'm not going to tell you what things are, but I don't feel that I didn't get my money's worth with it. And for me, it cost a lot more than it did for Stephanie because, of course, Missouri Star Quilt is an American quilt store, as you know, and it was in American dollars. By the time it got translated to Canadian dollars and the shipping on it, it cost me well over $320 for the box. But I don't regret it because I've had so much fun with it doing this with Stephanie, and that's why I do it. Okay.
I mean, sometimes people look at the stuff that you get in these boxes and it's not something they would go out and buy.
Yeah.
Well, that's usually the case anyway, for a lot of these things. Why? But then, like Steve says, it's kind of fun opening it up. It's like a Christmas present.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's like. It's like, different little present each day or whatever, which is kind of fun. It's great for people who maybe this might be their, and I've heard people say this, they bought the Missouri Star quilt box, for example, themselves because that's their Christmas present this year. They don't have anybody in
they
their
don't
life
have
to
any
give them.
family or
It's just
anybody
kinda
that gives
sad.
them a gift.
Yeah.
So they buy this because it's their gift. It's as if somebody had given them a gift.
Yeah. Now, the thing too is a lot of people get on the boat about, well, am I getting a lot more for than I value out of it than what I paid for it? If you work it out, you probably aren't. It may be close, but there's a factor in there that we just said. It is the excitement, the fun of the unknown. That in itself, how do you put a value on that? So I would say if there's people out there that buy one of these Advent boxes because they think they're going to get a lot more value from it in financially than what they paid, so it's like a bargain, I don't think that's the attitude to have. I think the attitude you need to have is it's something different. It's something that only comes out once a year and it's fun. It brings you joy because it's fun. If your joy comes from the monetary value, then
and you may actually get something that you wouldn't necessarily buy for yourself, but then you get it and you try it and you find out you like it.
Yeah, like Stephanie says, depends on what kind of gummies if it's worth it or not. Yeah. Oh, very true. Yeah. And Dana says,
I haven't seen any cannabis.
No, I haven't seen any. Yeah, we don't have any. Marijuana ones. Lydia says, embroidering multitudes of something. Is there a way to embroider all of one color at a time to reduce thread changes? Yes, there is. Yep. At least on the Janome machine, there is. Yep.
Yep, you can change all your colors to do one color.
So it'll only do one. So if you're doing a whole hoop full of, the same item, you got 4 or 6 on the hoop or whatever, there's a way you can go in and make
now, mind you, some things may not lean well to having no color changes. Like there may be some things that have shading changes or something like that. If you're doing
well, even if you have shading changes, if it does it all the colors at the same time, like what I'm talking about is, okay, the first one on this is white, so you've got 6 of the same thing, so it does all the first one on it. Then the second one is blue, then it does all the blue, and that. So if there's shading, it will do it that way too. But there is a way to do it.
Yeah, but like I
can
think
talk.
what she's saying is if let's say there's 5 color changes on a pattern, let's say you did a pattern of 5 maple leafs and they were like 5 different colors, you could change them all so that it's the same color.
Well, yeah, you could do that, but I don't think that's what she means.
No.
No, I think you like missed the mark on that one.
Yeah.
Judy said, I noticed that when people open the boxes, I find that I don't think I would use half of the items, but I love watching you open them all and they're entertaining. And actually, Judy, that's very true. There are several things, as you will see, if you watch Stephanie's and mine, so I don't want to say what those items are, but yes, there are ones that aren't my cup of tea. But you want to know something? It's like buying a subscription box every month with fat quarters in it. You know you're not every one of the fat quarters in that box you're going to suit your tastes. And that is the chance you take. And if you go in and you buy one of these boxes expecting that every item that's in that box you're going to be in love with, chances are no.
Okay.
But, but you can give them to a friend or something like that. Or there might be things that, like, sometimes I see things in there and I go, well, I probably won't bother with that. But then I get thinking about it later and go, well, maybe I should give it a try. Maybe I'd like this. So, it does open up, if you open up your mind to the idea, it does sometimes introduce to you some new things, like new techniques, new thing to make or something that you never really thought you wanted to do before. So, there's that element in there too.
Okay, yeah, I just reread Lydia's thing and I understand now.
Oh, so I was right.
Yeah.
Okay, you were wrong.
Yeah.
What was that? I was what? I'm not hearing it quite. Yeah, right. Yeah. Kill you, wouldn't it? Joy says, to me, Soft Squares has the best box for quilters worth the money. Okay. The other problem for us here in Canada is there's not a lot of them.
Yeah, and if we get something from the U.S., shipping can be an issue. Yeah. Missouri Star does actually do shipping to Canada in a good way,
and their shipping is fairly reasonable.
Yeah, like they've got it set up so that they charge us our taxes up front, and then when it comes across the border, it doesn't really we don't get any duty
or stuff like that. Karen says some of them spend so much on the packaging, yet the stuff still in the fancy packaging is junk. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Catherine says, why not donate the things you don't want, 3D printed or quilted items, to a thrift store? No. Here is why I will not donate to thrift stores. First of all, the thrift stores in our area are profit-based. They're owned by huge corporations. They are not selling that stuff at really low, inexpensive prices that people who really need it but don't have any much money can afford. We've talked about that a while ago.
Not only that, I'm wondering about liability and stuff not that they would know who gave it to them.
Okay,
but...
you have to read Walter Spine, and I can. He's talking about 3D prints.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 3D prints, if someone bought them for a child, I would not give a 3D print to a young child on certain ones. Because what are like under 3? There's a warning on most things about that. Why? What do the under 3-year-olds do? Pop it in their mouth. Everything goes in their mouth. Or up there. Never mind. Older children, sure, fine. But also, some of these 3D prints, the stuff they're made from could be toxic in one way or another as well. Like the stuff I print isn't really, but I wouldn't be licking it. Kind of a deal. So yeah, or they have sharp edges and stuff like that. But bottom line is thrift stores today, at least the ones in our area, are really more profit based, and they're not, you think you're doing a good thing by donating this stuff, gently used things, so that people who are less fortunate, have a very limited income, are going to, and they're not. Value Village is the worst one for that. Their prices have gone sky high. They used to be reasonably inexpensive, but not anymore. And that's one of the major ones in our area as well. So I only donate stuff to them that I really don't want to see go into landfill, and there's no other place to take it. So, but I know that they're going to hike the price, and the average person on a low income won't be able to really afford it either. Patsy says, I'm like a kid. I love opening the MSQC Christmas box. Bought it last year for the first time and bought it again this year. Yeah, and I'll probably buy it next year as well because, well, I know I will, not probably, I will. Because like you, Patsy, I'm kind of like a kid too, you know, with it as well. I mean, we don't really give each other gifts, and, you know, we don't do anything with our family as far as gifts because, you know, you don't know what to buy them, and my brother lives out west and all that kind of stuff, and we don't get much for Christmas. Also, we're hard to buy for because if we want it, we buy it ourselves. So, you know, I'm not saying feel sorry for us. Do you? Our mailing address is, oh, you can't do that because we don't have a postal service. No, just joking. Patsy says, oh wait, back up here. Lydia says, this manual sucks. Can't find it. I'll keep digging. Oh, okay. Yeah, you've got a 550E, don't you, Lydia? Let me know, and that I'll see if I can find it for you, how to do it. Patsy says, I didn't make half the things last year and probably won't this year. It's still fun. Yeah, the ones that are project based, they're kind of cool. And I say, oh yeah, I'd like to try that, and I never get to it. Yeah, Kim saying to Lydia, color sort it. Yeah. And Kim says, after watching your show on opening presents from MQS, I'm going to do it next year. Yeah, I think I believe that it's worth the money that I pay for it. Oh yeah, so Lydia has a 550E. Yeah, but like Kim said, just look at your menu, and I think it's one that shows color bars, and if you click on that one, it'll tell you what it does. And I think that's the one that will do everything in color order on whatever, how many things you have on there. I think that's the one. I haven't done it in a while, so I forget. Yeah, so I guess the bottom line is it worth all of this? Like, one, watching. I'm talking more now about watching all of these creators. Does it give you FOMO? Because it probably does. You know, oh, I wish I'd got one of those, kind of a thing. Do you find them annoying? You know, some of them are annoying. I mean, last year there was one content creator. She opened all the stuff in the Missouri Star Quilt box. She had nothing good to say about any of the items. It was like she was determined to put
and
a
she was
negative.
passive aggressive. She'd look at
yeah.
it, sort of starts by saying something nice about it, and then turning around and saying something negative about it.
Yeah. In fact, I haven't even watched her. I don't know if she's doing one this year or not. In fact, her whole don't get me into it, and I'm not going to say who it is, but I don't watch her anymore. She is just, she's a passive aggressive, arrogant, and very negative. I don't bother to watch her. There's plenty of other ones to choose from. I don't need to watch her. Dubrovka says Valley Village closed in Timmins. It got so expensive. People went shopping to Giant Tiger instead. Yeah. Joy likes the reviews. Yeah, and sometimes you do see things too that you know, ooh, wonder what that is. I've never seen that before. So, you know, it's also an enabling thing. FOMO, an enabler. But anyways, watch Stephanie's and mine. Ours is unique. Yes. And tune in next Friday on So Chatty when we open the Santa sack. Yes. That'll be fun too. Okay. So now there was one comment this week, and I wanted to address it because it was a very quick one. I had reviewed a quilt store, because you know I do on Idiot Quilter, and I found one that wasn't really a quilt store, but it was a pattern store called Susie Quilts. I thought for some reason that it was Canadian, because I only review Canadian online quilt stores, and I thought this one was out in BC. But one of our subscribers corrected me and said, no, they're in the States. And I looked it up, and yes, they are. So, but I still think it was worth it because it was kind of unique. So if you didn't see that, that was in last week's IQ. Check it out. But yeah, it wasn't Canadian, so it broke my rule about that. And let's see, just last few comments here. There are a lot of negative Nellies out there. Oh, yes, Patsy. There's certainly, yes. There is. And Joyce says, I especially like the weekly reviews because I forget what I opened. Yeah, I have forgotten what I opened too because Stephanie and I pre-recorded these a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, we watched the first day 1 to 5. Well, Walter hadn't seen it yet. He'd seen the stuff that was in there, but he hadn't seen our little production number of that. Okay, everybody, that's it. We're over time. Again, we seem to do that a lot. So I hope everybody has a good week. My vlog goes out on Monday. Idiot Quilter episode goes out on Tuesday. So Chatty with the Santa Sock goes out on Friday. Sack, not sock, sack. And then, of course, we're back to Stephen and Walter Live again. So, and if you have suggestions for So Chatty, put them in the email or in the comments below. And let's see, Monkey Man. I truly dislike most unboxing when the creator's trying to show off and get people to buy the monthly subscription so they can earn money. I may be in the minority. No, I get your point with that too, Monkey Man. So everybody have a great week. Thanks for coming out today. And